Hello, everybody, and welcome to another jam-packed edition of the End of the Night. I am, of course, David Lee Madison, the hack that does this show, and the hack right over here. See, I pointed in the right direction. I got this whole misdirection thing going. The hack right over here is the lovely and talented Joe Ridgely, my co-host and producing pal. Joe, how are you?
I am excellent. How are you this fine Sunday night?
I'm doing very, very well. As always, I want to thank the fine folks at Film Hub for help bring the show out to the masses. Film Hub is a wonderful, wonderful resource. If you are an independent filmmaker and you have a film that you want to get out to the masses, check out Film Hub. They're extremely good at getting your film on multiple platforms. They're fair, they're honest, they're wonderful. Check out Film Hub.
Also brought to you by StreamYard. People often ask us, how our video streams stay looking professional and have all the cool features? That would be StreamYard. They have a free trial. Tell them the Indie Escape Network sent you.
Yes, indeedy. So, Joe, what's that lovely business that your beautiful wife and daughter are taking part
Well,
of?
thank you for asking. And that would be Hearts of the Mystic Folk. And check out their line of awesome all natural scented waxes available in a variety of fun and seasonal scents. You can find Hearts of the Mystic Folk on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and their website.
Well, as you know, everybody, Grunkle Scott is at Rhode Island Comic Con, along with Kevin Smith and Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson and Marilyn Gigliotti and like the whole crew of clerks. I saw so many pictures online. It looks like they're having an absolutely wonderful time. So Grunkle Scott is not with us tonight. So we will Grunkle Scott when we return. Of course, Grunkle Scott, our partner in crime, will be right here with us. Now, last week when I found out that Grunkle Scott was not going to be able to make it this week, I reached out to a witch who I know, and because it was Halloween and she was flying by the moon at the start of Halloween at midnight, and I said, Grunkle Scott can't make it next week. Could you possibly be our co-host? And she's a very lovely witch. She's most people know her as what the hell's her name? Oh, Tiffany Shepis. Tiffany Shepis. But apparently, Miss Shepis is having. She moved. She went from one witch's castle to another, and she moved, and she's having some issues with her internet. But what I know her very well. And the truth of the matter is, where she used to live, she was able to steal the neighbor's internet very easily. But now, because the neighbor is further away, she doesn't have the capacity to steal the internet as well as she did in the old place.
Well, no. I've seen the pictures of her new place, and the mansions are further away.
The mansions are further, yes. So I don't know if we're going to be graced by the venerable presence that is Miss Shepis tonight. If she comes on, of course, we would love to see her. But if she doesn't, that'd be great too.
You just don't want to see the big Dave head.
The big Dave head, yes. This big Dave head is more than enough. With that being said, last weekend was an absolutely amazing weekend. Well, Halloween was awesome. And then to end Halloween, we had probably one of the most historic streamcasts that in the history of streamcasting. I guess streamcasting is kind of new, so that's not that big of an achievement. But the Vincent Price show last week was just really fantastic. And I want to thank everybody who was a part of that. It was really cool to see Jim Crut and Bill Randolph and Ron Milkey and Brian O'Halloran and Scott and Camden Toy and it was an icon like William Sadler who came on and was trying so desperately to get through because he was on location. I think he was up in Vermont, as I recall. He's shooting the new Salem's Lot movie. And
Yes,
he was in Vermont, and sadly, he had bad connections. As anybody who ever goes to hotels will tell you, hotel Wi-Fi is always spotty at best. But he tried. Joe, was it at least a dozen times to get through?
At least a dozen times.
Yeah.
And he got through one time for a good couple of minutes. And unfortunately, we lost him.
We lost. Okay, now hold on a second, because a lovely and talented young lady just asked me to send her a link for the show. So give me a second.
I mean, based on that description, it can't be Tiffany, no?
No. Tiffany. Let's be honest. We know Tiffany's not going to show up. She's gonna. What we're gonna call on this show from now on. She's gonna pull a Roshan on us. Roshan. So.
So I've got a picture of that last episode with everybody involved. It was a full house, the 10 of us on screen. It was pretty cool.
Oh, and I forgot the legendary Tony Timpone was on.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize to everybody who watched the show last week. Apparently, Brian had some really bad eye infection. And his eyes looked... I mean, I'm glad he took... an episode about one of the most iconic actors of all time, Vincent Price. So seriously, that wasn't googly eyes. Sadly, Brian had a rare eye infection that made his eyes swell. So I want to thank Brian for being a real trooper and showing on up under those rough conditions.
Yeah, we got to hit a few of these comments real fast if we could.
Absolutely. Hi, Francie. How are you? Okay. Wait. Can you hold it right there? Because something actually very important I need to mention, Joe. I did the Francie and Friends show. As you know, you were on with me. I think it was Wednesday. Was it Wednesday night? I think it was Wednesday night. And I've been doing the Francie and Friends show now for over a decade. And Francie and Friends is a wonderful, wonderful show. But we got some very, very sad news to the Francie and Friends family today. Legendary grindhouse actor and just a great guy. I've known him for now over close to 12, 13 years. John Link has passed away today. And John and I did the Francie and Friends show numerous times. John and I broke bread numerous times at dinner in New York City. I consider John a dear friend. And John passed away in the hospital last night. So everybody out there who knew John Link, who's watching tonight, may rest in peace, John. You were really, really a great guy. And, even though you hung out with Edward X. Young, you were a class act. So, John, your pals all miss you and are happy that you're no longer in pain and that you're, up in heaven. So rest in peace, John. Hey, Sean, how are you, pal? Michael Tamanya, hello. Michael, I hope to see you this holiday season and your beautiful family. Hey, Ken, you're feeling better. I didn't know you weren't feeling well. Very enjoyable show, I know. Checks in the mail, pal, thank you. That was an awesome episode. They all are, but that one, thank you, Sean. You are, Sean is probably one of my favorite people in the world, and I'm not kidding. I mean, I met him when we started this show, and he was part of the Indie Escape family, and just such a wonderful, wonderful human being. Sean, I hope you're feeling well and that everything's good, because you're one of those people who, by knowing you, it makes life a little bit better. Are you like doing your banking over there, Joe, or something?
I am. Actually, I aming you.
Okay. I sent it to her already.
Okay.
But you could send it to her again if you like.
Okay.
I sent it to her. So there's nothing covert. You know what this tells us, Joe? This tells us that the glue,
that I suck as a producer?
The very glue and foundation of this show must be Grunkle Scott, because we are lost without Grunkle Scott.
Scott doesn't usually come on until about 10:15 after, so
10:15
10 after, quarter after.
No, I know what you're saying, pal.
Okay, so maybe I am a little frazzled without Scott here. All right?
I know. My presence, I understand, being a master filmmaker and a masturbator and it can be sometimes overwhelming, but you'll have to learn to adjust.
I will learn after I write and direct my first movie. And
there you go. I'm going to call you on Monday or Tuesday of this night so that we can. I wrote a scene for you in Full Moon Fever where you're going to play. You're going to have to act because you're going to play a dear friend of mine. So you're really going to. So you're going to really have to pull out acting chumps, and because the film takes place in current times, we're going to talk via like FaceTime because it takes place in a COVID world. So you're going to be a friend who checks in on me as in the film my character is violently ill because he's slowly turning into a lycanthrope, and you're going to check in on me, and we're going to hopefully do that sometime this week if it's okay with you, Mr. Ridgely.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to be very, very vague about this because I could actually get in a shit ton of trouble. But I seen a film that's coming out. I seen a film last night that's coming out this December. That's very, very that a lot of people are excited about. But I will. When is my film coming out, Michael? I don't know. Probably the first quarter of 2022. But it's almost completed. But it's not coming out just yet. There just seems to be a glut of werewolf product out right now, and I want to not be lost in the mix.
I mean, all of a sudden, 5 or 6 films are werewolf
It's like
films.
every other week. It's like every week. There's like, ooh, werewolf of Poughkeepsie. And
Hey, first it was zombies, now it's werewolves.
yeah, I know. So that's. So I saw a film that's highly anticipated this December, a big budget blockbuster. And all I'm going to say is don't have the highest expectations because a lot of the hype that's going around it may be true, but it's not as extensive as you would think, and it's just not executed all that well. So that's all I'm going to say. But did you see Halloween Kills, Joe?
It did.
And what were you? Did we talk about this last week?
We spoke about it on the California radio show. I don't think we spoke about it on
What
here.
did you think about Halloween Kills?
I'm still wondering when Evil's gonna die.
Yeah. I think the Halloween series died with Donald Pleasance, to be honest with you, because has there, in all honesty, been a really, really good Halloween movie since Donald Pleasance passed away?
I got to be honest. I didn't mind Rob Zombie's first Halloween film.
I understand
thought it was good.
A lot of
you meant
people,
the ones in the actual series. I never watched all of them after
Pleasance.
Yeah,
You know what the problem with the Rob Zombie movies were, and it may
I
not
know what
even
the problem
be
with the second one is.
It may not even be a problem. It just may be a choice. But what makes Michael scary is that you don't know why he is the way he is. That's what makes him really horrifying. And Rob Zombie desperately tried to give an identity to why he was so, like, he had like the worst family, and he had an abusive stepfather, and all that stuff doesn't kind of play in why the boogeyman is the boogeyman. The fact in Carpenter's version, he had a beautiful home, a loving mother and father by all accounts, and just for some bizarre reason, he decides to carve his sister up like a Thanksgiving turkey. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, you know what? We have our guests for the evening.
Wait! Before we bring our wonderful guest out, Brian Cano. Is Miss Shepis in the green room?
No.
Oh, what a fink! You know what? We should all get a GoFundMe page together, so that we can make sure that her neighbor has a very, very powerful router, so that Tiff can steal the Wi-Fi she needs to do these programs. I think this is like the sixth time I invited her that she's given me the big FU. So I don't know. So tell me a little bit about our lovely and talented guest that we are going to have on tonight.
Well, a lot of people are going to recognize him from Paranormal Caught on Camera. Wow.
Oh, sweet.
So That's definitely, I'm going to bring him up. I'm going to let him explain. He's had an awesome career so far. I'm dying to speak with this gentleman. Brian, give me a thumbs up if you're ready, sir. All right, here he is. Brian, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, Brian, how are
Good
you?
evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. First off, let me introduce you to David Lee Madison. He is a writer, director, actor, and the host of the show.
Yes, I'm in the Greg Brady part of the Brady Bunch box right now. Yeah.
And I'm the one who's been harassing you for the past few weeks.
And he's Alice. He literally just kind of pops in like Ann B. Davis. It's just John Roos. Oh, it's Cano. Oh, like is it like Cano, like the baseball player?
No, not even close. It's Cano.
Cano. Oh, okay, Cano.
And that's the
Sweet.
thing. When Robinson Cano got onto the Yankees,
Right.
everyone started calling me Cano, Cano, Cano. I'm like, where is this coming from? And not like I was a professional ball player, but anytime I was on a sports team, my number was 22. So he had my number, he had my name. So it was cool to get some official Cano license here out there, but it was a different guy.
And then he screwed up your name on top of it all. You should have called him up and say, "Listen, you're Robinson Cano, damn it." I know
That's
one thing that you and have it all over Robinson, because I'm sure you do your career without the help of steroids. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I mean, if there was something that one could take to do what I do and see spirits and go across the world and do what I do, I don't know. Maybe we would all be faced with that choice, but there's no performance enhancing
There's
drugs
no
for the
performance.
paranormal.
That's absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for joining our show tonight. Tell us a little bit about when Brian's a young man and he's in high school. What inspired you to take the career path that you did?
Well, Brian in high school, Brian went to Catholic boys' school. He went to St. Peter's. So when I was in high school, not only were there no girls, there was really no latitude for anything but just, okay, this is what you were taught. But that being said, I was raised Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic these days, so I still have all the old teachings in me, but I don't necessarily follow them or believe everything to the letter of the book. But when you talk about angels and demons, like something inside me perks up. And on TV, on a lot of the paranormal shows, everything is demon, 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 and that's just really not the way it really is. But that being said, in the 20 years I've been investigating, I've only been on one case that I feel safe saying yes was demonic. And it really resonated with me because of my upbringing, because of my high school years, because of all the teachings, some pretty big picture concepts. And as I'm sitting in the back stage just now in the green room, hearing you guys talking about Halloween and horror movies and such, I'm not a horror movie person, but back when I was growing up, the things that I saw was like The Omen 2, and these movies freaked me out.
Oh yeah, The Exorcist
yeah.
especially.
I've never seen The Exorcist.
Oh wow.
What?
Never seen it. I've also never seen The Godfather. So there's a lot of people who are like,
They're not missing anything with The Godfather. Now, you grew up in New York City, I see, right?
yes.
Now,
I'm
is St.
still alive.
Peter's St. Peter's is a high school in New York City?
Staten Island, New York. Yes.
Okay. Now, I went to a Catholic high school in New York City, LaSalle Academy, so I know exactly how scarred you are. You'll be scarred for life being taught by the brothers and the nuns of
The
a Catholic
brothers.
high school. Yeah. I think I still have the imprint of the yardstick on my back from being whacked multiple times. So, tell us a little bit about how you used your skill as a is a paranormal investigator a fair thing to say?
I'm a researcher, but yes, that's
A
accurate.
paranormal researcher. How did you turn that skill into like a TV
No,
gig?
wait a minute. I got a question.
You'll get
before
your
that.
turn. Shut up. I
No,
asked
no,
him a
no,
question.
No. See, so when my wife and I are watching these shows, we're looking at each other going, where was this on career day? That is what I'm curious about.
It's the trajectory of my life and my career has taken so many different 180s and right turns and sharp, like when I when I was in high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I got into college, still didn't know what I wanted to do, but they kind of force you to pick something. They're like, come on, you got to pick a major. So I picked English. I said, all right, maybe I'll write. I like to write. Let's see where this goes. But unless you're John Grisham or Stephen King, no one is going to pay you to sit at home and just write fresh out of college. So I had to figure it out. And fresh out of college, I was a technical recruiter. I worked in the finishing department of an ad agency. For 11 years, I worked at an ad agency as a graphic artist, and then I moved over into the video department. I did a lot of different things, jack of all trades, master of none. But while I was at the ad agency, to blow off steam, friends and I would get together on Wednesday nights and on the weekends, and we would film little skits and shorts, and some of them were silly horror movies and some of them were comedies, and we just wanted to do different things. And one of the projects we started getting on became a cable access show on Staten Island called Scared on Staten Island. And the point of it was to go and investigate all the abandoned places around here and look into the ghost stories and the urban legends that we'd hear about it, and could we come away with any evidence. Now, this was back in 2002, so there was no ghost hunters, there was no ghost adventures, there was nothing really for us to emulate. So the closest thing I could say our stuff was like was Blair Witch. It was shaky, hard to watch. You needed to take a Dramamine to watch our stuff. But we would show up to places like Chiller Theater, and I would see Tiffany all the time from across the room, and and I'd have my stuff, and it kind of fit into this sub horror genre of urban exploration meets paranormal.
Sweet. I mean, go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm just saying that's very cool.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions because right now I'm filming a werewolf film called Full Moon Fever, and to give it some gravitas, I decided to film at some of the world's most famously haunted places. And I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are on some of these places. We just, the other day, shot an extended sequence on Clinton Road. Have you had any experiences on Clinton Road in New Jersey? It's supposed to be the most haunted place in the United States.
The Clinton Road. I passed Clinton Road when I head north. I see it. I've driven on it. I hear the stories. Nothing's ever happened to me there, but the rumors of the Gravity Hill there, the being chased by phantom vans that appear and disappear, and all the different phenomena that supposedly happens there. Now, this is something that happens in every state, every county across the country, and probably across the world, that because you've heard of it, there are certain tropes in the paranormal, like the woman in white. If I told you, hey, come on, Dave, Joe, we're going to go to a town. Let's call it Springfield, wherever. Guys, the woman in white has been sighted here. You've heard of that. And even if it isn't specifically there, the fact that you've heard of it goes, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. It lends a little weight to it. It lends some pseudo credibility to it. So Clinton Road, I've heard so many stories, and it's been in Weird New Jersey several times, that all you have to say is Clinton Road, and I go, I can't say if any of it is true or not, but I've heard of it.
No, I didn't know if you ever visited Clinton Road and had some kind of experience or a weird feeling there, or you got the heebie-jeebies by being there. We shot there probably in total 8 days, and
Oh, wow.
nothing overly exciting other than my werewolf movie probably scaring the ghosts away. I don't know, but it was nothing. We also shot I always had trouble saying this word, Moravian. It's like
Moravian?
Moravian Cemetery in Hope, New Jersey. Do you know anything about that place?
We have a Moravian cemetery here on Staten Island.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear rumors. I hear tales of people going in and having experiences, getting chased out, seeing shadow forms, things they can't explain. And this is kind of a part of our culture. This is a part of who we are. And from the days when we were living in caves to now, there's been something extra going on that we can't necessarily put our finger on, but it's so close. It's just there. We haven't locked it down yet.
It's funny because I shot overnight, and this was really crazy. We shot in the Devil's Den in I can't think of Civil War place.
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, right? Well, I shot in the Devil's Den in Gettysburg, and we slept in a van not 100 feet away, and that was the only time I was ever at a place that's supposed to be eerie. Well, actually, when I was a young idiot in 1988, me and my friend Tom Morales broke into the Amityville house when it was in between owners, and
Wow.
we spent Goosey Night, October 30th into the 31st, just drinking beer and listening to Traveling Wilbury music. And the only thing that was scary about that night is that we were drinking Meisterbrow. But
So this connects it to Full Moon Fever because Tom Petty, Traveling Wilburys, it's all
absolutely, I had
to.
to steal. I only steal from the best, Brian. Trust me. And it was full. You know, I always thought Full Moon Fever was too good of a title for a werewolf picture not to be used for a werewolf picture. So. I mean, Full Moon Fever, Tom Petty's album, really has nothing to do with werewolves, but it's a good title. So
The vampires heading down Reseda, turn left at
Ventura Boulevard. Yeah. We grew up. I think we're very similar in age, and we both went to Catholic high school so I could see that we're both seriously
It
scarred.
molds a specific type of person.
Yes, it's called a horrific, scary individual, and we wear it well. So it's awesome. Joe, I know that you had questions. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No, not whatsoever. I'm looking at the pictures that we have here, and I'm just looking at. So this particular show was this your first show that ran for a while?
This was the first official show. I mean, I had produced our cable access show, Scared on Staten Island, and then when it left cable access, we did it independently. When YouTube became a thing, we're like, "Ooh, what's this?" We started posting our videos online, and I came up in a very weird time where we were on the cusp. We were on the border of the old school and the new school. So the majority of my work, standard definition, 4:3. You know, Dave, you're going to know these terms. Now, today, everyone shoots on their phone. They're like, "Hey, look, I made a movie."
Yeah, and it's 8K. That's the scary part.
Back then, it was difficult. I remember buying one of my first serious hard drives. It was 750 meg. And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. I'm never going to fill this up." Now, 32 gigs. This little tiny thing, 32 gigs. It's ridiculous. But we came up in a weird time. So Haunted Collector, when that came about, the events that led up to that, I don't like certain sayings out there. One of them is everything happens for a reason. It irks me. It really grinds my gears. But I feel like the universe made it so that I could be on that show with John Zaffis, and it's just literally, I couldn't have planned it. We did it for 3 seasons. It was on the Sci-Fi Network, and then we never came back because the show didn't get canceled, but there was someone who was involved in the ownership of it who said, "Oh, you want season 4? Let's see the money." And it wasn't any of us. We weren't getting any of it, but they held out, and Sci-Fi told us what to go do with ourselves. So we lost out. The viewers lost out. And I just kept doing what I was doing independently, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's awesome.
I was trying to revisit that show, and $1.99 an episode.
Someone's still cashing in on it. It's not me.
I tried finding it in a few places, and I'm like, really? And I'm just amazed by how fearless you are. I watched the first episode again, and middle of the night, you're crawling underneath a freaking house, and with just a camera on your head going, "Yeah, I'm going to dig in here and not afraid of anything. Pull out a box, bring it out." But yeah, you've got some cojones.
If you stare down a Christian brother or a nun because you're late for school in 1989, trust me, you grow those breast
You do.
cojones. Yeah. Can you put up that picture for a minute, Joe, that you just had up?
Sure.
I think it's awesome that you guys resurrected Junior Soprano for this. It was absolutely fantastic. I was just kidding. I think that guy looks just like Junior Soprano. That's kind of cool. All right, I have nothing to add to the festivities. You might as well just block me out with my bad
Thanks,
Junior Soprano
David.
jokes.
Well,
That was a
about
fun
him and-
show. I mean, Haunted Collector was a great experience. I mean, traveling around with John Zaffis and the family, and we knew each other before that. We were like family going into it. So a lot of the shows are cast, and you can kind of feel that something doesn't feel right because, again, they were picked by the network. Us, we were doing what we were doing anyway. And when we got the show, okay, now it's just showcasing what we do anyway. So the only thing that I feel was not natural was their inhibiting of our personalities. Because in the first season, we got to joke around a little bit, and there was some funny bits. But then the second and third seasons, they brought on other investigators to be with us, and there's only so much time for so many story beats that we'd be in a haunted location, and a lot of it was dark, dark stuff, and that weighs on you. And we're going from location to location, months at a time on the road. We're collecting all these haunted artifacts, so all this haunted stuff is coming with us, and we're feeling weighed down by it. What's the natural reaction? Sometimes you try to joke, you want to lighten things with humor, and we'd be cutting up, and you'd hear, "Come on, guys, be serious." Do sit down to be serious. It's like I've got to be Spock or Egon Spengler to be on TV, but sometimes you just got to be yourself. And I'm trying to bring this back to the paranormal. A smile, because everyone in the paranormal does what we're doing in that picture. Arms folded, pissed off look, like we're constipated, and it's you got to have fun.
Let me ask you something. In all your travels, have you ever felt like an entity or a spirit that you felt had bad intentions or was just purely like evil?
Oh yeah. I mean, it took me a while to realize this, and when I first started doing Scared on Staten Island, I was a skeptic. Coming out of Catholic school, actually, well, rather coming out of college, the entry into the job market, the real world beats you down. It really knocks you out. And the wonder that you had when you were a child, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, aliens, Stonehenge, all these mysteries you don't have time for because you're commuting, you're paying bills, you got student loans. It's just like, Urgh. The paranormal helped me rediscover that wonder. And where we are, they are. So you don't necessarily have to go to a haunted location to experience the paranormal, especially, people report it happening in their homes and they don't know what's going on. They don't know why it's happening because they're everywhere. It's almost like a parallel dimension of sorts that, there's an entire world going on all around us at all times. And just like in our world, there's good people, there's bad people. You could say good and evil, and then there's in between the gray area of, well, all right, they're not so nice or they're kind of good. Every bad spirit doesn't necessarily need to be a demon, but yes, those do exist on the extreme end. I would say more often than not, people don't encounter them with the frequency that TV purports, but they're out there.
Now, do you believe that these entities, these spirits, these ghosts, whatever, however you want to label them, do you believe that they are stuck here, or they are being like in a holding pattern, or everybody once you pass you stay here? Is it like they're pissed off because they're here and they're not going where they're supposed to be? They're just they have a vendetta against something or someone that they want to see through. What do you think? I honestly believe that what you're talking about, that there is something else. I really do. I'm not mocking you or being a jerk off about this. I'm being deadly serious. But I don't think every soul that passes to the next, passes on to whatever's next, necessarily is here, if that makes any kind of sense. And why do you think? Because this is a question I ask myself, because I honestly believe that there is spirits and the supernatural. I believe quite heavily in it, but I don't know why that, like, it's just a handful of souls that are still kind of lingering around instead of every soul that's supposed to move on to the next step.
It takes a while to figure it out. Again, in my 20-year journey of doing the paranormal as kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone from skeptic. I'm a skeptical believer now. I've put my chips down on lots of different theories, and what it comes down to is it's an evolution. Now, to go into pop culture and to pull two movies that demonstrate some of what's going on. The Others with Nicole Kidman is a good one because it shows that, yes, we're experiencing things, and in our own time, we're the hero of our own story, but we might be the ghosts, the spirits of someone else's experience in a different time. And as we follow her in the movie, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen a 25-year-old movie, she's the one, she thinks she's being haunted, but she's the one haunting this other people, and they're holding stance. They're trying to get through to her. So to us, we're seeing things that could be from a future time, that could be from a past. There could be lots of overlapping times. And again, we believe, we experience time as being linear. There's theories that say that that's not quite so, that time is all happening all at once. Just our ability to perceive it and not go mad requires us to take moment by moment in a linear fashion. Another good movie, if you want to talk about how spirits, why they're here and what happens to us, What Dreams May Come, starring Robin Williams.
Oh man, that movie bummed the shit out of me.
It's a depressing movie. It came out right after Mrs. Doubtfire, so if you were expecting more of that, you would be sorely disappointed.
I think Robin Williams watched that movie and committed suicide, to be honest with you. That was a bummed out movie, man.
But
it's a beautiful movie. Don't get me wrong, beautifully shot, but
there's a misconception again, and TV puts forward the notion, and the movies put forward the notion that spirits are trapped here. For the most part, nobody is trapped anymore. That we're trapped here. You're trapped in a mortgage. You're trapped under a loan. You're trapped in your job. Like, yeah, we could use the description to say that, oh well, we can't move on. But for the most part, we're the masters of our destinies. We choose where we go. And with spirit, if they're here, there's a reason for it. Either they have unfinished business, or maybe there's a message they want to get across, or maybe they're afraid of judgment and like, oh man, I was a crummy person and I can't go to the next stage. I'm going to hell, if you believe in that. Right. And you also have the free will, the option to come back, to come visit, to come go to places that you like, or just want to check in, or if there's some people that you want to check in on. And it's not always that place and that spirit is always there 24/7, just waiting to be interacted with, just like us. I'm not in this chair all the time. I'm not at my job all the time, but I'm there enough for people to go, yeah, Brian works here. Oh, Brian lives here. You want to run into Brian, go hang out there. He's bound to show up. It's like that with spirit too. And the fact that we can't lock down certain things is almost evidence that, yes, they have a robust existence to where we can't lock down certain things. And like, all right, for instance, let's take a movie. Any of the movies that we've mentioned here tonight, line up 5 people and ask them, was that a good movie? You'll get 5 different answers.
No,
none of it is truth, but it's all perspective. And with the paranormal, belief, skepticism, somewhere in between, we're all trying to figure it out.
No, absolutely. And that's a great, that's a wonderful answer. And it's a really, really deep answer when you think about it. And it reminds me of The Sixth Sense. I mean, that was another great movie.
So good.
I mean,
so good.
But you can only watch it once.
By the way, Joe, if by some chance I'm older than you by a couple years, and if I kick
more than a couple, if
I kick the bucket before you do, I am going to haunt your ass like a mother. Seriously. So be prepared. I'm going to.
Absolutely. By the way, Scott's not here, but Mrs. Scott is here. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. How are you? Ken was asking, ever felt like a spirit attached itself to you?
Well, I was going to ask a similar question.
So I just ruined it for you.
Well, not really.
Okay.
Do you ever feel like you ever brought something home and had a hard time getting rid of it after an investigation?
Yeah, and we're not talking about VD.
No. This is a common question, and this is where a lot of the fear comes in for people when it comes to the paranormal. They're like, oh, I don't want to do anything because I don't want something to follow me home.
Right. Well, I knew it was a cookie cutter question, but
It can happen. I mean, it can happen. Like, yes, so what's the saying? You're in the kitchen. You're gonna get burned or something with fire. Play with fire, whatever. You're gonna get burned. If you do the work, or even if you don't do the work, there's a chance that something can attach itself to something, can follow you home. But it comes down to intent, and you have to protect yourself. Personally, I feel like I've been unaffected by things following me home because, like you see on Haunted Collector, I don't react with fear. And I think that in those early days when I came home, people would assume, oh, you got all these abandoned hospitals and asylums. Oh my God, so many things must be following you home. If they did, the spirits that followed me home would have gotten so bored because I wouldn't be paying attention to them. I'm watching TV. I'm playing games. I'm doing my own stuff. And if they're I was completely oblivious to them, and they'll move on. And it's like you don't feed trolls online, because once you start responding to them, they attach themselves. If you don't pay attention to them, they'll go find other quarries.
I tell you, Joe, that's a great question. And I go to a lot of haunted places hoping that these evil spirits latch onto me, because then I bring them home and they meet true evil, my wife. They get the hell out of here. Get bat out of hell. CJ says, oh, okay. Hello, gentlemen. He's talking about Grunkle Scott and O'Halloran.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I want to bring up a picture, if I may.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm curious about it because I don't recall seeing this. Talk about this a little, if you would, please.
Okay. I will say that I'm sad that I missed last week with O'Halloran. It's been a while since I've seen him. It's good for Brian's to get together on mediums like this.
There you go. He lives right next door to me. You're really not missing much.
Oh, okay. Well, that picture was from 2016 when I was part of the Team Grand Midway, which painted on the roof of the Grand Midway Hotel in Windber, Pennsylvania, the world's largest Ouija board. And that's me after finishing painting the A and the B. We landed ourselves in the Guinness Book of World Records for this back in 2016. And it was a lot of fun. The thing is huge. It's still there. And the most common question we get asked are the demons that come through it bigger because it's the size of the roof? And the answer is no.
Well, is there a planchette that goes with it, or
a proportionally sized planchette? Yes, it's about I want to say 6.5, 7 feet tall.
Wow, the fact that you knew what that was called is pretty awesome. You did your homework, Joe. I'm very impressed.
Oh, Joe did his homework.
Joe, I know that a wonderful actor and just a great guy, star of Warlock 2 and Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's in our. Is he still in our green room?
He is.
Brian, do you mind if Mr. Craig Hurley stops on? We just don't know if he has a question or just wants to say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the lovely and talented Craig Hurley.
What is happening, Craig?
Your mic is on mute, brother.
Okay.
There you are.
I can. Hey, oh shit, is what I just said. So.
Okay.
No, I've just been sitting here watching. Noticed that Tiffany didn't show up, and you didn't have Scott, so I thought I'd just jump in and
be awesome.
And just say hi. And dude, I'm totally into your stuff, Brian. I'm sitting here going, I'm agreeing, I'm laughing, and I'm going, I'm the guy in the subway that is looking to break into the cigarette machines, and he's all pissed off. That's the ghost that I'm gonna be. That's where I'm at. So
so you're not the get off my train guy. You're the cigarette machine guy.
No, I'm the cigarette machine guy. Isn't that the same guy?
Yeah, maybe.
Sure I think that's the same guy. But I'm going to be haunting people too, as well, David.
Absolutely.
Aren't you already?
They're nice. Nice.
Do you guys have anything you want to announce, or are we waiting on that, by the way, Joe?
Well, we were kind of waiting on it.
Okay, absolutely. No.
Some exciting stuff coming December 1st.
Absolutely. There's always exciting stuff going on the Indie Brigade. Brian, where did you go to college? You said you mentioned earlier you were at college.
Wagner College on Staten Island.
Okay. You were a Staten Island guy.
I wasn't ambitious back then. I pretty much did everything on the island, and I still live on Staten Island now. But because I get to travel the world, it satisfies that itch.
I hear you. I was wondering if you went to Queens College, because that's where I went, and I would understand why we were both haunted. Craig, you already haunt me. Oh, look at that. Ken says you haunt him.
Excellent. Hey, Kenneth.
I actually
I
think
I do haunt Kenneth on occasion.
I do. I think Craig is actually the evil spawn of George Harrison. I mean, look at that. He's got that going on right there.
Thank you. Why evil? Why not just Spawn?
Well, you got a little bit of evil in you. That's why I like you.
I was actually on or in Hana, Hawaii, where George Harrison had his house, and I was driving by his house, and there was a dude that looked just like George Harrison out doing his gardening, and I was like, I really want to walk up and say, "Are you George Harrison?" But I didn't dare. It was his house, and it's Hana, Hawaii. You're literally in the middle of like friggin' nowhere. Like it's really hard to get there, or at least at the time it was. So I didn't want to bug him, but I think I saw George Harrison doing some gardening.
That is pretty damn epic.
And George Harrison spent his unfortunate final days on Staten Island. George Harrison, traveling Wilburys. It all comes together. It's all linked.
Again,
It's all a scary cycle. So did we get a chance to talk about Paranormal Caught on Camera?
No, not yet.
Tell us a little bit about Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Paranormal Caught on Camera, literally, before I came on to this, I'm in my Paranormal Caught on Camera outfit because I just filmed episode 517. We're filming season 5 right now. Season 4 is airing its tail end on the Travel Channel. And I gotta say, I've been having a lot of fun with it because unlike the other shows on the channel where everyone is, again, crossed arms and not smiling and going around, the evidence that they put forth, they have to stand behind because they captured it. So, all right, they got to present it. Paranormal Caught on Camera, we're just commenting on videos. So there's some I believe, there's some I do not believe in. And it opens up a conversation. So anybody can come to the show, watch it. And I've even learned a lot being on the show because I was mainly a ghosts and spirits guy, but now I know more about cryptozoology, about ufology. And just this past summer, I found myself in Michigan at Michigan Paracon sitting on a UFO panel with the likes of Nick Redfern and other people in those circles. And I was probably the least qualified person there, but because of my commentary on the show, they said, "Oh yeah, Brian, let's have him talk about aliens."
That's awesome.
Put my hair up and say it's...
Hey, Brian, you want to come to my house? I've got a dude that was in a wheelchair, from what I can tell, and he rolls around the house and scares the shit out of my dog all the time. And I've got an old woman, and I think it was Grandmother Mary Jane from a friend of mine. So I'm wondering if you might want to come or do I just need to just like put up a camera and then like send it to you when I get some footage of some weird ass shit?
You would send it to you would send it to the show, and then they would figure it out to me, or you just send up the bat signal and I'll come running.
Okay.
the Brian signal.
Brian symbol, whatever that would be.
Just be careful, because if O'Halloran shows up, you're not going to want to open the door.
That's true. You send up the Brian signal, you never know which one you're going to get.
You don't know what Brian you're going to get.
Maybe the big googly-eyed one.
O'Halloran, Johnson, there's all different varieties.
Oh, yeah.
Johnson. Yes.
Mick Ray, if you want to get really obscure.
Or another Staten Islander, Q from the Impractical Jokers.
Well, Brian O'Halloran, actually, before he moved to Northeast Pennsylvania, was a Staten Island guy.
O'Halloran?
Oh, yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I did not know.
I thought he was a Jersey cat.
No. He's a Staten Island guy.
Okay, fair enough.
No idea.
So
You just rearranged my universe just now.
So Brian, you're around a couple of long-haired hippie freaks. Does it make you want to bring the ponytail back?
You know, this all happened by accident this summer. I just wanted to get it neatened up a little bit. I was going to go on camera, and I told the guy, 2 inches. Just let's keep it healthy. He's like, oh, he heard 4, cut more, cut a little more on top of that. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I can't quite get it and keep it in the ponytail. So I said, all right, I got to lean the other way. And it's been a weird summer because I haven't had short hair in at least 20 years. Probably college. Because again, Dave, I came out of Catholic school where you had to keep it short.
Yeah.
My act of rebellion in college was to let it grow, and it never, it was long since then. So I almost don't know who I am now. I don't know what this is all about yet. So it's been a little growing pain. So for about 3 days, maybe a week this summer, it was longer than this, and it was long in the back. I had a Mel Gibson mullet, like a Lethal Weapon mullet, and I'm like, this would have been awesome in '92, but now it's got to go. So I've been figuring things out. So I see the long hair. I'm like, honestly, I feel like I have phantom ponytail syndrome because like I'll turn my head and I'll still feel it. I'll still feel the ponytail swish, and it's I guess it's still there in some way. It's in the phantom realm.
You're bringing it back. You're saving the mullet.
You take some Corellian photography, and you'll just see the energy flow of the phantom ponytail.
I had to ask. What I also have to ask about is this seems like a really cool project. Can you please talk about that?
Yeah, this is a passion project that I'm involved in right now. I call it the History of the Paranormal mobile exhibit, and I go to lots of conventions around the country, around the world. I meet a lot of people. I see a lot of people who were influenced by the TV shows and are now in the paranormal in one way or another. And I find that the majority of viewers don't look beyond what is presented to them on the shows, be it the equipment they use, be it the names they know. And as I said earlier today, when I first came out with my show, this was in 2002, before there was something to emulate. 2004 rolls around, the show Ghost Hunters hits the air. Just there's an explosion of TV shows that we're seeing now. Okay, like now you have Discovery Plus. There's an entire network where you could watch dozens, almost can almost go to those triple digits of shows dedicated to the paranormal that didn't always exist. Like back when you and I were coming up, it was an October thing. It was a Halloween thing, and by the time the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown rolled around, then now we're off to the race, and now we're off to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you didn't really hear about the paranormal until next October. But now it's 24/7. So when people see the shows, monkey see, monkey do, they emulate what they see. I'm like, well, there's so much more to it. Here, let me take you through and show you some of the names, some of the societies, some of the places that went into this. Because before Jaysen, Grant, and Zach and all those guys, there was Emanuel Swedenborg, there was Hans Mesmer, there was Hans Holzer, there was all these different names that some you might have heard of, some you might not have. But if you leave my exhibit knowing just one more fact, and then you tell someone else, and they tell someone else, this information is getting out there. And my goal is to take it to all 50 states. And I've got 6 under my belt so far. Next weekend, I'm going to Lincoln, Rhode Island to show it to my 7th state. And then it's head west.
That is unbelievably awesome. I mean, you know what's really cool? I think you grew up in Staten Island. I grew up in Middle Village, Queens, we're probably 2 or 3 miles apart from each other. Do you remember? Let's reminisce for a moment. Do you remember when we were kids? Channel 13 on Halloween night would show all the Universal horror movies. Is that something that you remember?
I remember that. I remember having to go to Burger King to get the 3D glasses to watch, Creature from the Black Lagoon on the Friday nights.
And Coming at You on WPIX.
WPIX.
Yeah.
WPIX.
Do you remember Pix, the video game that we would scream at the TV when we were kids? Pix, Pix, Pix.
I don't remember that.
I'm a couple years older than you, so you might not remember this.
I do remember some of the great commercials they had. I remember there was this commercial for Indiana Jones, for Raiders of the Lost Ark, that they gave words to the Indy theme that I had to track down and I finally found a couple of years ago. But I thought I was crazy because I remembered words to the song.
There was a great Halloween special. Do you remember the Halloween It Almost Wasn't with Judd Hirsch, where he played Dracula?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Oh, it was wonderful. Judd Hirsch and Mariel Hemingway
Ariel Hemingway.
and Garfield's Halloween. Garfield's Halloween, which they don't show anymore. It was fantastic stuff. I know I'm waxing poetic about stuff that nobody gives a rat's ass. So
Well, it was a good time to grow up because I remember back then, like, you played outside. You
Yes.
went outside. I lived in Staten Island. I lived across from Curtis High School, where there are these 2 apartment buildings. So we had 2 20-story apartment buildings to trick or treat in, and then like you would go outside, go to the next building, and you spent your entire night there. So it was this little microcosm of a world where you would trick or treat, and the only rule you and like in that Eddie Murphy stand-up, when we were outside and the ice cream man came by, we literally said, "Yeah, Mom, throw down some money." They throw down money. And the only real rule you had back then was don't go behind the building because then the parents couldn't see you. But that's where you went to do stuff that you didn't want them to see.
No, absolutely. It was a simpler time. You'd go out and you play stickball, or you'd play sewer cap baseball for where you'd use a tennis ball.
Were you brought up in the 40s? What the hell, man?
You used to put baseball.
We played kick the can.
You used to put
This
baseball.
is like a boy's life with Robert De Niro.
What Joe is right now.
You used to play
What
put
era?
baseball cards in your spokes.
Yes, I did that.
You used to flip baseball cards in the schoolyard.
Come on, I was born in '76 on Long
Playing
Island, and
stickball. What's stickball, Dave?
What's
You're
stickball?
sounding
It's
older
where
than me, man.
it's where you use an old Spalding rubber ball and a broomstick as a bat, and you'd play it in a school. Come on, Brian, help me out. You had to have played stickball.
it was like
absolutely. I played
Okay.
stickball.
Okay.
You would definitely put the baseball cards in the spokes.
Brian's like, no, we
No.
actually had an aluminum bat that we used and a ball. And
Now,
we went
here's the
onto a
thing.
field
I was
because
on-
they have these things now.
I was in Staten Island, so my New York experience was a little bit different. But I'm sure, Dave, since you were in Queens,
Yeah.
you probably had a stoop.
Oh
Yeah?
right, stoop ball. Yeah. The best thing
stoop.
you had to hit the tennis ball literally on the point of the stoop to get the home run across the street.
Nice.
And I actually had 3 ice cream men. There was the early in the afternoon, the guy would come in the good humor truck, the one that literally he would be
I love the
exposed
Good Humor
and
truck.
ring the bell, and he'd walk around and open up the side of the freezer. He would come in the afternoon, in the early afternoon. In the late afternoon, Mr. Softy would come.
Mr.
No,
Softy.
wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would be my guy because I'm an old softy. And then later that night, Jim and Bill, who would sell pot to all the teenagers, would come. So he was just a fake kind of truck. But
Murder
yeah,
ball. Oh, murder ball.
I don't remember Murder Ball
that doesn't. Well, I don't think Ken remembers too much about it either.
and Wiffle Ball. Wiffle Ball
You
was
used a
great.
baseball? Ouch.
Yeah.
We'd have loved dodgeball, but
yeah,
baseball?
but Ken's Canadian. You got to forgive him.
Sorry about
Nobody-
that.
Nobody's perfect.
Sorry about that.
Say about.
Sorry about that.
Madison
Hey,
ran with
hey
a
Brian,
stick. And
do you have kids?
I do not.
You don't, because Joe and Dave both
Yeah.
have these brilliant children, and I'm just wondering, like, is it an East Coast thing? Is it like, it blows my mind how smart their kids are.
No,
So
I
was
think
wondering
in Joe and I's case, it was milkmen who were really smart. To be honest with you.
Nice.
Mailman.
Wait,
And
you
mailman,
still
okay,
have
mailman.
milkmen as well, dude? What? Seriously? Is this the 1940s?
Well,
There were no milkmen in 1970 or 68 when I was born, dude.
Oh.
Blues from the wall.
Stickball and milkmen.
When I was growing up, there was a guy, and maybe Brian had one of these. There was a guy who would drive around in a truck, and I'm being dead serious, and he'd ring a little bell, and you would bring out your cutlery, your knives and forks and stuff, and he would
Okay.
sharpen them.
I'm aware of that.
And now
I've
we've
heard
got
of
the
that.
sharpener, the knife
That
sharpener
sounds
guy.
like that sounds like again, Steve Rogers, 1940. Donate your medal to the war. Help the troops.
No, it was happening in 1970s.
Stop the Fuhrer.
I think David is actually one of these spirits, Brian.
I'm
who
300
is- who is-
I'm a vampire. I was born 360 years ago.
Oh, okay, it explains all of it. dude.
Milkman always rings twice.
Look at all the
No.
time you came. Moving down
We still have
silently.
the-
Now for the
Well,
season.
Grunkle Scott's away. The mice will play. I see.
Oh, all right. So, David, your daughter had cloth diapers, and the guy coming around to pick them up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
No, he hung them out on the line. I'm pretty sure he washed them himself and hung them out on the line.
I can't see Dave doing that.
My friend Caroline Ingalls came over and helped me with that stuff.
There you go.
Oh, half pint.
Yes. With that being said, Brian, it's getting late, and my sorry ass has to be in Massachusetts at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I still got one more picture I want to touch on.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely.
Because this looks like a fun one.
He looks like a badass there.
That's my supernatural shot. That was when I got to drive the baby, the supernatural car. Actually, this is one of the ones that makes it around to the conventions. Thor the Impala.
Oh, it's an Impala. So like a 60, 64, 66, somewhere in there?
I think it's a 67.
Yeah, that's pretty, dude.
A beautiful car, and it's they did it up perfectly. If you're a fan of the show Supernatural, there's no detail in it, on it, around it, in the trunk, in the back seat, in the little cigarettes ash holder. Everything is just as you would expect it to be. They really did a great job, and even better, they let me drive it. The 8-track player had an AC/DC cartridge in it, so you start it up and AC/DC comes on, and I'm like,
excellent.
I get to drive this. They're like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, you're gonna let me drive away with this car?
Like, yeah, no waiver or anything. I just get to go.
Later.
Nice ride. Did it have ghost flames on it? Because that would have been good. Put some purple ghost flames on that black, dude.
No, it did that. It did not.
So, Brian, is there anything that you could share with our audience that you have coming up that you would like people to look for? And where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I've got a scroll going down here, just so you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The best place to find out all that I'm doing and everything that I'm coming up is neverstopsearching.com. That's my website. There are my events on it. There's also the schedule for my History of the Paranormal mobile exhibits. I'm very easy to find on Twitter at Brian J. Cano. I'm on Facebook too, but whatever they're calling it now, Meta, I'm hardly ever on it, so I'll only post some things that I'm doing. But I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/Brian J. Cano. And when you go to that, all that helps me with my museum. Getting new displays, it funds that. So you get to be part of a community and you get to actually see it grow, which is something I'm very passionate about. And if I'm coming to an area near you, please come out and love to see you.
That is awesome. You are absolutely an awesome guy. It's an absolute honor and privilege to meet you. Thank you so much for being kind enough to do our show. Unlike Tiffany Shepis, you showed up. And
are you going to be down in Florida anytime soon?
Tiffany was just too intimidated. I remember that. Like I said, I remember seeing Tiffany at Chiller many, many times. And I remember there was this one time we had this stare from across the room, and it was like, to me, it was a shared moment, but she was probably looking at somebody behind me. But that was many years ago. I wanted to ask her about that. Be like, hey, what gives?
No,
Florida. I have no plans for the immediate future to be in Florida, but I'm always looking for reasons to go down.
Nice. We would love to have you down here. Let's work on that.
All right.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're now part of the Indie Escape family, the End of the Night family. If you ever want to pop on, please do. We have big star-studded Christmas and Halloween shows. Last week we actually had, when I was a kid, I interviewed Vincent Price, and we unearthed a lost Vincent Price tape. We're going to one day do Peter Cushing and the second part of the Vincent Price interview. So if you would like to be on those nights, we'd be honored to.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'd like to be on that too. I mean, I was on the last one, so I'm assuming I'm going to be on the next one. But yeah, that'd be cool to have Brian in on it.
I'm so sad I missed it last week, Vincent Price. And I was just thinking when I was in the green room before, I'm like, oh, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee. Like that was the time. Those guys were.
Sadly,
amazing.
I never got an interview with Christopher Lee, but I got Peter Cushing and Vincent Price, and they're both pretty awesome. And
I'm in.
It's awesome.
Sweet.
Again, everybody, thank you, Brian. You're awesome. Check out Brian on his website.
Yeah, Brian, thanks for letting me crash in your interview.
Good to meet you, Craig.
We just decided to have a prettier version of Tiffany Shepis on. We got Craig. Ladies and gentlemen,
No.
Brian J. Cano.
Thank you, Brian. And I will be in touch.
Sounds
Thank
good,
you,
Joe.
sir.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian J. Cano. What a wonderful guy. He's
Awesome guy.
And
cool as hell.
super smart guy. Craig, question for you.
Yeah.
I know that you dabble in selling movie
Careful.
memorabilia and antiquities and stuff.
I wasn't sure. That's a loaded question. You dabble in?
And I was looking at some of your merch. You have some wonderful stuff.
Thanks.
That would make great Christmas presents. Can you tell folks where they could check out where your
you can
antiquities
just
are?
Google Winky Collectibles, WINKY Collectibles.
Okay.
And we have wow. I've just been collecting my whole life, and I've gotten to the point where I have too much. And Katie, my fiance, Katie Barberi, has also been collecting her whole life, and she has way too much. We you can see the stuff behind me, and I've said this before. The majority of it's 1977 through 83 Star Wars shit, except for this one right next to me, which is a 2001, which it's my only one. It's my only slave of 2001, and I'm like, I should just sell it. And Katie's like, but you only have one, and I'm just like, okay, these. It's tough, dude. There's so much, and we have over 1,000 listings now on Winky.
No, I was looking, and there's some wonderful things that I'm actually going to.
It's a full-time job. It really is.
If you or Katie, if Katie's watching, Katie, please put in the description in our comments the website where people, if they want to do some Christmas shopping at that wonderful store you guys set up.
Thank you.
Put it.
Yeah, just Google Winky Collectibles, and it'll come up. You just click on it's on eBay, so
some of the posters alone, holy crap!
Yeah, we got a lot of really, really cool stuff.
I saw the Phantom poster. I was excited about. I'm going to do some Christmas shopping on there.
I think I just sold the Phantom poster. Sorry, man.
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
Dude. We've been selling like crazy because we're having a 25% holiday sale too. So
sweet.
Yeah. So selected items are 25% off, and a lot of stuff has been selling lately.
No, I know a lot of folks who watch this show are love the collectibles and are collectors, and you have so many cool things on there. So I figured it just made sense for you to give your site a shout out because
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, and Katie and I have been involved in the entertainment business since we were kids. So we actually, the stuff that we have, we've done so much research on it, and a lot of the stuff we actually know these people. So it's like, oh yeah, we can verify that's that idiot. So
you have the provenance.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult anybody that's in the entertainment business. So yeah, that's that actor, or that's that person, or that's their autograph, and a lot of stuff that we don't know about. Like I've got Disneyana, and there's some of it that I don't, and that's collectibles that are made from Walt Disney. Some what we don't know about, we actually contact appraisers, and we contact individuals. Like I have a Robeson painting, an Eric Robeson painting of Mickey Mouse that I thought was real, and the real Eric Robeson paintings are going for like 25 grand, just crazy, stupid money. And so we got it to an appraiser, and the appraiser's like, yes, this is definitely a real piece of art, an original piece of art. And then we contacted Eric Robeson himself, and he contacted us back, and he's like, no, this is a print on demand, which Disney did, and they're still expensive, but not quite an original piece of art. And
no, that's understandable.
It's really cool that like the artists themselves will actually contact us to verify whatever it is that the items are.
No, that and your site's wonderful for doing some Christmas shopping. Believe it or not,
Thank you.
with the way the mail's working, I would tell people to start shopping now because things are taking forever to ship. So do your shopping.
That's why that's like December 15th is the last day that you can really like try to get something to somebody. Yeah. But according to the United States Postal Service, and UPS. UPS is a little quicker, but the United States Postal Service already said that they are delaying stuff from 5 to 7 days. Stuff that would normally take 3 days is 5 to 7 days currently. So I can't imagine what it's going to be like a month.
No, absolutely. That's why I'm telling everybody to buy now. Craig, thank you so much for being my wingman and popping on and helping me out tonight. I suspect that the Indie Escape family and the Network family will be seeing a lot of Mr. Hurley. That's because he's on my show all the time, and we got some things cooking. So, Craig, thank you so much for coming on, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
Be well.
Keep thinking about a name. Think about a name.
All right, I am.
He knows what I'm referring to.
I'm sure.
And it was really cool because I didn't even see Craig typing any of this.
He's got amazing. He must have a third arm,
right?
Yeah, he has to.
He typed all these messages without even blinking.
I want to thank you, Joe, especially for tonight. You booked the guest tonight. Brian was really, really just a super guy, wonderful guest. I was really smart, funny. He was just a great guy. Everybody who's watching tonight, seek out his work because
absolutely. I think Dave and I were a little thrown off tonight without Scott, and then we thought we were going to have a guest co-host, and
I'm literally since Friday, if I've gotten 4 hours sleep, I'd be surprised. So I'm like running on fumes, and I have to get up in a little under 4.5 hours to drive my daughter back to Massachusetts. So with that being said,
and everybody needs to know, I do apologize, David. Tiffany did try to come on twice.
I was just going to say, all kidding aside, we love Tiffany Shepis, and my shtick is always to goof on Tiffany, but she's a great friend, and she was having internet problems tonight. But thank you, Tiff, for trying. It was awesome of you. Next, just so you know, Joe, I haven't told you yet, but next weekend is my wedding anniversary. So the very last thing I want to do is look at you next Sunday night.
Well, I can do my hair up pretty.
You can do it. You're gonna wear fishnets and pink lipstick for me.
It's nothing unusual.
I know. They call that a Tuesday. So we will not have a show next week because I'm going to be next Sunday is actually my lovely bride and I's 376th anniversary, and we're going to go out and do something fun. Hopefully.
And then the following week, Schiaffo is not going to be here again. And then the following week is Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we'll have between now and Thanksgiving, we'll have one Schiaffo-less show. We might have a cool guest. I don't know. What's so weird, Katie Barberi? Before I go, I'm curious that is so weird. Is it my face? Is it Joe's beard?
I think it was Craig being able to type. It's Craig.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. So next weekend I will be off, and be that as it may. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Check out all the other shows on the Indie Escape. Go out and see Grunkle Scott at his next con. Do you know which one that is? Do you have a little doohickey for it? I think it's Saratoga Comic-Con.
That sounds right. Him and Brian are going to be there.
Yeah, Saratoga Comic-Con on the weekend, blah, 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 blah. Look up Scott Schiaffo, and you'll see where the guys are going to be. With that being said, everybody be kind to each other. Be well. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. At least Joe and I will. And I got some crazy shenanigans up my sleeve for that show. With that being said, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Good night, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.
I'd love to get 4 hours sleep.